sent them downloads, guides, something I've already helped them with. So they're ready to buy. They're ready to have a conversation, and I don't have to try and sell to them. Does that make sense, guys? Put up your hand, say yes if it does, and talk to us how this is going to apply. Kendall, what do you think right there so far?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we with a consulting firm that I also work with, there was a conversation a couple of weeks ago about fees, and are fees too high? Are they too low? How many times someone pushes back because of our fees? And at the end of it, the discussion was, it's not our fees, it's that if they're bringing up no money, then we have not done a great job in describing the value of who we are and what we do.
Yeah.
And the no money, I think in some ways, it's just the easy way to get out of something for them that feels uncomfortable. So it's a good sign to say, okay, how do I need to reframe this in order to make it more impactful?
Totally. And Ryan's got a good question here. And we're going to get into this too. The common objection, we only need X. That's, that's what we want to talk about. But really, you're going to help them solve a bunch of stuff. So really, we talked about, I think, our last webinar, we want to lead them to our offer, not with our offer. And so we're going to talk about that in a couple slides here, is really understanding how we can create need and anticipate need and be able to lead them to that value without saying, well, I understand you want this, but here's what I want to give you. That's where you're dead in the water, right? Oh, I gotta click on push water rookie. Here we go. So here's one thing. If you've ever heard, like, you've ever done sales training, you might have heard these three things: probing, handling objections, and closing. And Kendall, I don't know if I've ever told you this. Do you know when that was invented?
I don't. Please tell us.
1925. There was a guy named E.K. Strong. He's also the guy that invented the AIDA method. And what was it called? The Theories of Selling in the Journal of Applied Psychology. He was looking at sales techniques, and he put this out there. From that time, sales training has been about probing, handling objections, closing. And I'll tell you, nobody likes to be probed. I mean, depends. But also handling objections and closing, this is really about how do we take what they're doing and manipulate it so we can win. So if we're doing that, I mean, this is just an old school thing, and people are, you can tell people are not cool with you trying to handle their objections. If you're handling objections, you're too late. That's what we're doing. So today we're talking the psychology of it, which is reducing resistance. And the psychology of it, there's two kinds of resistance we run into. The first resistance is called knee-jerk, and it's reactance. So that's where people right away will say, no, it's not for me. I can't afford it. It's not this, it's not that. And you run into that everywhere. In your day-to-day, everywhere you go, people have like that spidey sense that they don't want this. They've got an experience before. It's a visceral reaction. It's not necessarily grounded in truth. It's just their reaction because it's a response from the reptilian brain to say, I want to keep myself safe. The other kind of resistance is called anticipated future regret. And there's two kinds. One is, if I do this, I'm going to regret it. The second one is, if I don't do this, I'm going to regret it. And the goal is, there's a sales moment. That's what's called sales moment between those two. Is they go, I don't know if I don't think I should do this. I'm going to regret that. And then they start to go, and it's your job to move them right there to say, hold on a sec. Maybe I should. I watched a video yesterday, some guy on, I think, Instagram, and he said, if you take action on this today, I'll give you this price. It's, $2,500 for the thing. And then he shut up, and it was like uncomfortably quiet. He just was quiet. And you could hear the guy tapping. And then he went, hello? He's like, no, I'm still here. He's like, and he said, F it, let's do it. And I knew that's exactly what this guy's going to say. That's because the longer it goes, the more visceral that response is, because he's really being like, if he's going from, no, I don't think I can do this. I got to talk to my wife. I got to do this and this. But then he went, man, I should do this because I always back out. I always do this. You know what? Let's go. And that's what we're talking about, is that anticipated future regret. And there's a moment that you can do. So your job, all of this stuff with objection prevention, is to create the ideal environment. So somebody does that. They say, F it, let's move forward. There's three. So I'm going to answer your question here, Ryan, too. The three types of need is pre-existing. That's where they say, hey, can I talk to you about how we could buy this? That's why I always say, customers are about 60% of the buying journey before they engage with us. If we're only dealing with them then, this is usually what we have to solve for. We say, yeah, we have that. We can solve that. This is how much. They say, cool, I'm shopping around. I just want to get a price. And that's where you do RFPs, and you're competing on price, and you're getting a lot of competition. The next one is, through your conversation, we want to expand that need and say, hey, this typically is what happens, but we also maybe want to look at this and this, and it's closely connected to what it is. It's usually an upsell, a cross-sell that they understand. But ideally, especially as a service provider and looking at the matrix, there's stuff that they never thought of. This is where we want to say, hey, based on what you're telling me, this is connected to this in this way and this way. And you can show them the interconnection and go, because of that, that's what's affecting. These people are involved. These are the other costs that happen. This is the time it takes. This is what a pain in the butt it is for you. And typically what we see there is it goes like this. That's why we do these things. Something that they might have never thought of that positions you as a different type of value, different type of provider. And that's where the magic happens, is where you create need they never thought of. If you're solving problems they've already thought of, your price point's got to be lower. If you want to charge more, you want to have more non-competitive deals, higher conversions, faster sales cycles, higher revenue, you need to get good at this. Does that answer your question, Mr. Ryan? I popped the button. I'm just stressed out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, anticipated need, the implication and needs payoff questions are really great to use and creating that additional value and not selling, but letting them know that you actually need X, Y, and Z versus just A.
Yeah, it's been so. That's what Kendall's referring to. I remember who here, but that's we've got stuff on the asking questions, the implication, need payoff. That's a big thing. It's just really understanding the level of what do you say? What's the phrase you use about questions?
The person with the highest quality questions controls the conversation.
Perfect. And so that's what this is a lot about, is the better you are at asking questions, the better you are at cognitively reframing your customer, the more they start to think differently about themselves. That's how they think differently about you.